This is Plymouth, Thanksgiving Day, 2010. A tale of one city, remembering one event from 389 years ago. But that story is told in two very different ways. In the morning, it's the Pilgrim's Progress,
I think it is one of the most
led by Pastor Gary Marks.
beautiful expressions of their faith and their courage in that first year.
In the afternoon, it's the Day of Mourning,
First of all, I have to say this.
led by American Indian Munanam James.
We're not anti-Thanksgiving. We give thanks every day.
Pilgrim's Progress is 89 years old. Day of Mourning is 41. Both Marks and James have been a part of their respective marches for over 20 years. The routes of the marches are similar. They both pass the Plymouth Rock, placed in the harbor 300 years after the Mayflower landed there. They both walk through downtown to the square, bracketed by the two oldest churches. Both marches begin to the rhythm of drums, and both end in prayer. But the differences are more noticeable than the similarities. Pilgrim's Progress is a reenactment of a march to church. All Christians, all white, wearing the felt hats, ruffs, breeches, cuffs, and garters of their forebears. When you talk to the Pilgrim reenactors, two themes emerge: perseverance and faith. Is it, I wondered, a religious experience for the marchers? Plymouth resident William Philibrow says,
Oh, absolutely. It gives you kind of a first-hand sense of what the sacrifices were that they made.
what it is definitely not, says David Jaley, also of Plymouth, is a show of American might, though the marchers do carry fake guns.
Remember, there were wild animals out there. There were also native Indians that they did not know very well.
The Day of Mourning is a protest, made up of multiple races, colors, and creeds, people wearing everything from traditional native clothing to protest t-shirts to jeans and leather jackets.
I mean, we could be up here in our war paint and feathers and bows and arrows and whatnot, but that's not what this is about.
It began when James' father was not allowed to tell the American Indian story at a Thanksgiving celebration organized by the state of Massachusetts.
The reason given was that, and I quote, "The theme of the anniversary celebration is brotherhood, and anything inflammatory would have been out of place." What the state was really saying is that, in this society, the truth is out of place.
These days there is enough space between marches that the two never cross paths. That wasn't always true.
There was a bad relationship a few years ago.
And we stopped them from going into the church.
They actually interrupted this progress, and
We shut down the Pilgrim Progress Parade. They were unable
I got pushed up against the
to
building.
keep that racist, the most horrendous looking thing that I've ever seen in my life. People marching with a musket in one hand and a Bible in the other.
But since then, we have reconciled things, and they do their thing, and we do our thing.
The Day of Mourning protesters agreed to stop doing civil disobedience in exchange for two plaques that explain their side of the story and a statue of Massasoit, the great Wampanoag leader. Could you ever see a time when Pilgrim's Progress and your program worked together?
That would be maybe something that we should try to work for, but there is a lot of resistance in this town to our organization.
There is just one moment during the Pilgrim's Progress when the two sides see each other. High up to the procession's right, at the edge of Coles Hill, a young man and woman hold a large banner reading, "We are not vanishing. We are not conquered. We are as strong as ever." The woman holding the sign, Athene, looks at the Pilgrim's Progress.
It just looks like a perpetuation of an outdated myth that, needs to go.
On the other hand, spectators here to enjoy the Pilgrim's March want to see the Day of Mourning end too.
To make a point that mars something that is so wonderfully American and is most people's favorite holiday because of the family, I just think is a shame.
I found one man who was fine with both existing in this one place on this one day. Joel Goldstein of Sharon, Massachusetts, neither a descendant of the Christian settlers nor the American Indians, says,
Well, it's nice that we live in a country where people can feel free to, express their own opinions. Not being a Native American, I don't know how I'd feel, but more power to them if it makes them feel better.
Whether it makes them feel better or not, the day of mourning will not go away. Neither will Pilgrim's Progress.
I don't know when I actually started doing it on a regular basis. 20 years ago, 25, I don't know.
How many times have you done this?
Since like 98.
So the year 2000 we started.
Well, my mother helped organize the first one in 1970.
And this is all our family.
Both were born of Thanksgiving, one to celebrate a tradition, the other to mourn it. But now, both marches are traditions of their own.
As we close our service today, we remember from God's own holy word these words from the psalmist.
Make an offering, a prayer to the Creator for this beautiful
Gather
day.
to me my saints, who made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Ukushka, Ukushka, Ukushka.
Go in the peace of God, and be joyful, and be hopeful, and be thankful.
Ukushuleo, Ukushuleo, Madios, Madios, Ukushuleo.
For NYU, this is Michael Humphrey.